How you going, guys? Bought a new race car. Got sucked into that old chestnut. Yeah, restoring the Escort back to historic specs and not keen to sort of race that competitively anymore. It's just getting old and it's breaking a lot and it needs a lot of love, and don't really want to go through that whole process and then try and keep pushing it at that sort of level, because it would really need massive upgrades to sort of take the punishment, and it's not really something that I want to do with that car. I like it like it is, and I like the historic aspect behind it, and yeah, it's probably not the safest thing. It's old tech and super uncomfortable and all sorts of things. So while it's super cool, I just want to put that back to the way it was and use that for historics and maybe the occasional race, and get myself in something new. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've had a look at a few options and finally landed on this one. It popped up and had a really good chat with the owner, and then flew into state to go have a look at it, and just loved it straight away. And yeah, I feel like it's definitely something for us, and I think it's going to sort of set the tone for many years to come with our racing, and yeah, really looking forward to it. So still learning a lot. We've only just got it, sort of only had a poke around for one night and pulled a few things apart and worked out what we actually need to do. The car's never raced before, so it's a long-term build, and it's sort of had a running weekend, I guess, or day. It's done about 30 laps, and they've sort of, haven't even really gone through teething, to be honest. Yeah, so it's really, really early days. So there's still a lot. We've basically got to treat it like it's never turned wheels, which is what we're doing, and no doubt we're going to come across those things and have to work through them, but that's sort of exciting at the same time, and then also finishing it sort of in the way that I want to have it, and setting it up for me and those sorts of things, and developing it around how I want it to handle and behave. So that was probably another huge positive of this particular car, rather than it having previous history and having been set up and developed in a certain direction that maybe wouldn't suit me anyway. So yeah, super excited, and yeah, let's get around and have a look at it today. Rightio, so Mazda RX8, if you haven't guessed. So this is what we would call typically a floor pan sports sedan. So the reason we call it a floor pan is because it's a chassis car. So this is a real RX8 that has then been cut up and built as a race car, rather than a tube frame that's been built from scratch with a body mounted on it. Saying that, it is mid-mount. So there is a set of floor pan regs, and this doesn't meet that, because obviously it's being significantly modified around the firewall, and not so much the floor. The floor's actually all still there. Everything underneath, all the factory rails and all that sort of stuff, is all still there. But engine's in here, so it's 13B twin turbo. So there's a couple of turbos here, runs into muffler out the side. Holinger 6-speed sequential. So remote shifter linkage, obviously, because the box sits so far back. It's all Motec gear besides the ECU, which is actually Link. Due to having the rotor in there, a couple of little things that the Link could do that was handy, that the builder wanted to put in. Obviously super neat, as you can see. Very high end for this type of car. Lots of carbon bits on it. The roof and the guards are still factory. Glass bumpers, but carbon doors and boot and bonnet and all that sort of stuff on it. I'll show you underneath later on, but yeah, just runs factory uprights with KW dampers or KW coils, two-way with remote reservoirs, AP brakes all round. Yeah, there's lots of fancy bits in here. I'm still finding a lot of it myself. Still trying to work out everything that's going on. As you can see, the cage comes way to the front. Basically, the cage goes to the subframes, front and rear. The motor's all the way back there, so you can see where the original firewall is versus where even the front of the 13B is. So she's a fair way back. Super neat. Lots going on in here. There's lots of sensors and yeah, it's just very well set up. Obviously dry sump, and that's a really cool system. We'll do some more on that later, how they've set that up. Yeah, it's very well thought out. It's definitely definitely my kind of car. I'm super particular, and yeah, the way they've built this is, you know, you can see all the detail in it and the thought that's gone in. I've already been doing a little bit of work inside. Carbon seat, all the Motec gear that's in here. It's yeah, still just trying to set up the seat and the pedals to suit me and my positioning. I'm a lot taller than Kim, who built the car. Air jacks actually tuck in the door there, so you can see when you close the door, the air jack actually sits up inside the door. Pretty cool. ECU, Motec PDM, everything's mounted back in there. We're going to be putting a fire system in, so a plumbed fire system, which we'll get a start on today. Underneath the back, we'll get down here on the ground, winters, 10-inch winters into the factory subframe, so it's been obviously modified. The whole frame's been raised up, so the car can sit super low and it maintains good geometry. Yeah, nice big 250 litre fuel tank, so there's 100 litres in total, fills through the factory location. Yeah, super neat. Obviously there's the air jack line, that goes on the back. Neat little carbon wing. This is the C West body kit. Doesn't have skirts on it at the moment, so that's something that we've got to look at. And potentially widening it to fit a bigger tyre under it. It's only got a 265 at the moment. Yeah, I think we're going to need to go a bit bigger, but yeah, so lots for us to do, lots for us to learn. Super excited about it, super pumped to get in it and do some laps. We're going to be doing a test day just in a couple of weeks, 1 week before the next South Australian state round, so which we're going to enter. So really got a couple of weeks to just get through it all, get my positioning right in the car, get the fire system in. I really want to make sure that's in there. And then just learn as much as we can about it. Obviously spanner check it and just get through it and make sure she's looking alright, and then the test day will just be us basically trying to run it in and understanding it. So yeah, and then in the meantime I've got a lot to learn with the ECU and the dash and a whole lot of other things. So yeah, pretty excited. The guys that built it, so Kim Ledger, so Kim's been around motorsport a very long time. He's built a lot of really cool race cars, very successful ones as well. He built it through LF Performance, which is his own workshop that's now closed. He built it for himself. It was sort of his last race car, which is why the level of detail is there, which you'll see as we're working on it, and you know, throughout footage that we'll put together at the track and things like that as we start to learn more. And yeah, Kim's just got to a point in his life that he felt like he wasn't going to race it to its potential, and that he'd be better off going to a new home, someone that was going to use it, and that's definitely us. So yeah, we're able to put together a deal, and huge thanks to Kim, you know, for letting us sort of take it over, I guess. Yeah, I feel pretty privileged that we've actually got it. Like, obviously we had to buy it, but it's not often that something like this comes up. Yeah, and I'm super happy about it. I love space frame sports sedans, absolutely. I still wouldn't say no to one of those at all, but I feel like I've already got an early version of that, and I like the fact that now we've got a late model floor pan, modern, you know, modern tech car that we'll use for competition. So I feel like I kind of got best of both worlds there. So yeah, that makes me happy and pretty excited to see how it all goes. So yeah, more details sort of as we get to learn it, and yeah, hopefully we can get it going pretty quick. Have a go. Yep.